ये रिकॉर्डिंग भी ऑन कर दी है। Attendance आप चाहें तो you can put up your attendance also. So as I said that we will discuss title of the play today, Waiting for Godot, which is the title. So we will try to look at it, that whether this title is significant or not. What is the significance of this title, and how we can justify this title? Because now you are an experienced student, you are into your last year, and you are aware that in our examination question, there has always been a practice of asking the justification and the relevance of the title of a text. So suppose if we get a question with regard to Waiting for Godot, and you will be asked, okay, you have to justify the title, you have to talk about the significance of the title of Waiting for Godot, right? So here we are. मेरे ख्याल से all of you know that the basic theme, or rather the central theme, or if you would not like to say the central theme, if you will agree that certainly at least one of the central theme, अगर आप ऐसा कहना चाहते हैं, is waiting, right? So waiting is certainly the central theme, or one of the central theme of this play. So we know this, right? When you look at the title of the play, you will find that the title contains the very theme itself, right? The title contains the very theme of the play itself. I mean, if we say that waiting is a basic theme, waiting is the central theme or one of the central theme of the play, so certainly that central theme of the play has been mentioned in the title itself, Waiting for Godot, right? Uh, Friends, if you look at the title, you will find out that there are two keywords in the whole, sorry, in the title. There are two keywords in the title, right? Uh, One is, of course, waiting, and the other is Godot, right? We will be looking at these two keywords, waiting and Godot. And as I said just now, just a while ago, that waiting being the central theme of the play has been mentioned in the very title itself. Similarly, I would also like to bring you to the idea that uh, Godot, although he is an invisible character in the play, he does not appear in the play. And there is no physical presence of Godot in the play. Still, we can feel the very presence of this character, Godot, in each and every page of the play, right? So certainly you can say at the very outset, you can say that the writer is quite justified in giving this title to the play, because one of the central themes and one of the most prominent character of the play has been mentioned in the title itself. Now, now let us look at this theme of waiting. And as I said, that this is also a key word of the title also, right? Now, waiting, and waiting for whom? Waiting for Godot. The question is, okay, who Godot is? Who is this Godot? What is his identity? What is his what you can say the pechan? What is the character of Godo? So this is a very puzzling thing. This is a very puzzling question, and this is certainly a very what you can say a very enigmatic thing of the play. That what does Beckett mean by projecting this character, by projecting this name Godo in the play? So this has always been a very puzzling question. And not only puzzling, this has always been a very, what you can say, a very controversial thing also. Critics, scholars, and even the experts of Beckett or the experts of drama, you can say, or the experts of modernism, postmodernism, we can say. So they are always talking about, and they're always discussing about this character Guru, and hence an enigma, a mystery has always been there around this character. Uh, so different kind of attempts are taken to identify this character. But I would like to say at the very outset that Beckett himself never tried to give any identity, or even he never tried to give any clear identification uh, to the character of Bodo. So for some, this Bodo stands for God. It may be a diminutive of God. This word Godo, Godot, can be seen as a kind of a diminutive of God. For some critics and scholars, this Godo is the old God of the Old Testament. Perhaps you know the name, I hopefully, Jehovah, Jehovah. So for some critics, for some scholars, this Godo is the God of the Old Testament, named Jehovah. Or for some critics, this Godo is Christ also, the Messiah for whom all of us are waiting to come. So maybe Christ also. So it is, as I said, it is whether a diminutive form or representative of the old God of Jehovah, Old Testament God Jehovah, or maybe Jesus Christ, the Messiah, etc. Now we know, since we know the story, so we know that the two central characters, the two tramps, Vladimir and Estragon, they are waiting for Godot. And why they are waiting for Godot? Apparently, it seems to us when we read the text, when we try to decipher the text, it seems to us that as if they are waiting so that he may free themselves from, or he may free them from any kind of misery. They are waiting for him so that he may free them from any kind of suffering. They are waiting for them so that he may free them from their miserable existence. Look here. And this is a very important key word, the miserable existence in which they were. Uh, Now, my dear friends, that we are always into the habit of waiting. As human beings, I must have told this to you earlier, that as human beings, all of us have this first-hand experience of waiting. I'll be talking about this a bit later, that what are the things we are waiting for. But let us say, even our souls also wait. If we believe in our metaphysical existence, if we believe in our otherworldly life, hmm, the life hereafter, so we know that the souls are waiting. The souls are waiting for salvation. The souls are waiting for what we call moksha. है ना? The souls are waiting for liberty. The souls are waiting. Liberty is not a very proper word for moksha, right? Salvation is the proper word, right? So the souls are waiting for God, so that they, means the souls must be getting their moksha, getting their salvation. We also can look that this character of Godot, or this very enigmatic figure of Godot, may also suggest some kind of suprahuman, or or supranatural or supernatural intervention. And we sometimes hope, when we are tired of our miserable condition, when we are tired of our miserable existence, we sometimes hope for any kind of superhuman or suprahuman intervention. We hope for some supernatural intervention. So this Godot, this enigmatic figure, can also be seen as some kind of an intervention of a supernatural or a suprahuman agency, right? Now, we can also look at Godot as something that stands for mythical human being. Look here, this is also a prospect, that this Godot may also stand for a mythical human being whose arrival is supposed to change the miserable human condition. Enough. Some kind of a Masiha, some kind of a mythical human being, right? Some kind of an avatar who whose arrival is supposed to change the miserable human existence. This Godot, my dear friend, can also be looked as a Renaissance figure. All of us, as a student of literature and also as a student of history, are aware about Renaissance. More as a student of literature, we have read a lot about the characteristics of Renaissance, right? So, believing that you are aware about all these aspects, I am trying to tell you that even this is also an interpretation. This is also a way of looking at the enigmatic figure of Godot, that he may also be looked as a kind of a Renaissance figure. And if you know history, European history, you know that the two countries, France and Germany, were at war, right? If you know the first half of the previous century, the 20th century, and if you are aware about the World War One, World War Two situations, you know that these two countries are France and Germany had a feeling of animosity and war and all that. And since you know that this drama, Waiting for Godot, was first written by Beckett in French, it was meant for a Paris stage, a Paris theater. So maybe that this Godot can also be seen as a French hero, a French hero who is being waited, who may come and liberate France from German occupation. So this can also be a way of looking at the character of Godot. Another thing is, and the last thing is, and you must have heard me saying a lot about this in my class, that Godot may also represent death, waiting for death. But you can also reject this idea. That, sir, since in the play, a messenger boy appears twice, once at the end of Act 1 and once at the end of Act 2. A messenger boy appears informing the two tramps, Vladimir and Stragon, that that Godot will not come today. He has postponed his coming today, but he will surely come the next day. So you can reject this idea of Godot being the representative of death on this ground that, sir, death never comes informing, right? So, but certainly, I strongly believe and I strongly think, if I don't want to say believe, I strongly think that Godot, or this puzzling, enigmatic figure of Godot, is also a reference to death, right? So, whatever Godot represents, now, if you recall whatever we have said right till now, right? So, whatever Godot represents, and you know that he does not appear physically in the whole play, but in spite of all this, I hope you will agree with me that he is as important a character as any other character of the play, say for example of Vladimir, the character of Stragon, or the character of Uzo and Lucky. So he is as important a character like that. है ना? बल्कि even you can say that, sir, in fact, he is more important a character than those four characters who actually appear in the book. So, so though Godot does not appear, but he is as real a character as any other character in the book. Look here, this is very important. Now, coming to the subject matter. And what is the subject matter? Do remember that the subject matter is not Godot. The subject matter is not Godot. The subject matter is, as we know and we have discussed this time and again, that the subject matter is waiting. Right? Now, let us talk something about waiting. This act of waiting, my dear friend, is a very important human characteristic. This act of waiting, I hope you will agree, is a very essential human characteristic. Saying earlier, and I told you that I'll be talking about this a bit later. So here I am. I told you that we all wait in our life of one thing or the other, right? We wait for one thing or the other. I told you in my class that we are waiting for an appointment later. We are waiting for a good bride or a good groom, right? We are waiting for something good to happen in our life. We are waiting for our examination results, right? We are waiting for hope even. Look here. We even wait for hope. We even wait for some good news. We even wait for help. कहीं से कोई मदद आएगी. So we even wait for help. We even wait for any kind of relief that may come. We even wait for our redemption. I hope you understand. We even wait for our redemption. We wait for our freedom. We wait for our liberty. We wait for our salvation. Now, look here, these are very important words. We wait for our liberty. We wait for our individual freedom. We wait for our salvation, etc., etc. These are very important words. And you can give a lot of meaning to these words: political, religious, social, economic, whatnot. So Godot, my dear friends, is the representative of this objective of waiting. Listen to me, and listen to me very carefully कि मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ. मैं कह रहा हूँ that Godot is the representative of this objective of waiting. Waiting for an event, waiting for a thing, waiting for a person. Look here, waiting for what? Waiting for an event, waiting for a thing, waiting for a person, waiting for death, as I am saying time and again. Right? So Beckett has depicted a lot of human situation in the play, or a lot of human situations in the play, you can say. If you remember any of my earlier class, you will surely recall that a Beckett play represents a human situation in which we all are. So this Beckett is depicting here in this play a situation which has many applications. You know, a situation, a human situation, which has many human applications, right? Now let us move ahead and talk something more about Godot and this act of waiting together, right? Now Godot here in this play appears to have some significance, right? Even if that this character does not appear on the stage, this is what we are saying time and again, and we know it very well that he does not appear on the stage, but in spite of this, he appears to have a lot of significance. So the time we come to know in the very first act and in the very first 2-3 pages, when we come to know that these two tramps, Vladimir and Estragon, are waiting for uh, somebody named Godot. Within the early pages, we know that their wait is endless. We know right at the beginning, 2-3 pages pass, and we know that Godot will not come. We know that Godot will not come. We know that this wait of Estragon and Vladimir is an endless wait, right? So we know that although they are waiting for Godot, but they are not sure. Remember, they are not sure who Godot is. They are not sure about his appearance. They are not sure about their promise, his promise. They are not sure about anything about Godot. So though they are waiting for Godot, but they could not say who Godot is. They are not sure whether they're not sure whether they are waiting at the right place or not. They're not sure whether they are waiting at the right time or not. So they do not know what would happen if Godot comes. They do not know what would happen if Godot does not come. And they do not know what would happen if they stop waiting. What would happen if they stop waiting? So they are ignorant about all these situations. They do not know who Godot is. They do not know whether they are waiting at the right place or not. They do not know whether they are waiting at the right time or not. They do not know what will happen if Godot comes. They do not know what will happen if Godot does not come. They do not know what will happen if they stop waiting. So now look here. Did they have any schedule? No, they didn't have any schedule. They even didn't have any watch. And so they didn't have watches, they didn't have schedule. They didn't have any kind of information with regard to Godot. And they were waiting. So, since, my dear friend, I must have told you in some of my earlier class that since they lack the essential knowledge, and since they lack the essential knowledge, so they are ignorant. Don't you think that we, in some situation or the other, also lack the essential knowledge of these types? Right? And we are also ignorant. But anyways, leave it at what we are. So these two tramps, I mean Vladimir and Estragon, they are ignorant because they lack the essential knowledge. Without the essential knowledge, they are unable to act. Since they lack the essential knowledge, so they are unable to act. Listen and listen to me very carefully again, that since they are unable to act, hence they are impotent. Who is an important person? One who does not act. One who cannot act is the Nishkriya one, is the passive one, is the important one. So since they lack essential knowledge, so they are ignorant. Since they are ignorant, so they don't know how they are unable to act. Sorry. And since they are unable to act, so they are impotent. So two things. They are number one, ignorant. Number two, important. Being ignorant and being important, they represent also, or they also represent boredom and annoying. So I'm adding two more things. On one hand, being ignorant and being important, right? They represent two more things. They also represent boredom and ennui, Ennui. So they also produce a sense of helplessness, a very baffled kind of helplessness. And it's not a normal helplessness. It's a very baffling helplessness. एक तो हेल्पलेस भी और दूसरा ये कि पता ही भी नहीं है कि क्या 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 करना है. तो वो जो हेल्पलेसनेस है, very very baffling kind of helplessness, right? So now listen, that they produce a sense of baffled helplessness. And don't you think that we also experience these kind of situation in which we are also unable to understand what to do, how to act, how to react, etc., etc. So even we are also having the exposure of, or we are also having the experience of these kind of baffled helplessness, right? We do not understand the forces. We do not understand the things which over which we have no control. Hmm? तो उन चीजों को, उन ताकतों को, we are unable to understand those forces on which we have no control. Now let us now come once again to Vladimir and his friend. What they are doing in the play. आप कहेंगे, you will say that they are waiting. While waiting क्या कर रहे हैं? हम लोगों ने, we have discussed this in our classroom also. While waiting, let us do something. Wait. No, while waiting क्या करना है? So they seek ways to pass their time while waiting. They seek ways to pass their time while waiting. So time and again, quite repetitively, I have told you in my class, and I must have made you feel bored because of these things, that that basically we are waiting, and during the course of waiting, हमने अपने लिए ये सारे ढकोसले, all these rubbishes that we have created around us, है ना, दिल के बहलाने जो मैं कहता हूँ हमेशा, तो वो ये कर रहे हैं. So they are passing their time by singing songs. Remember, they are passing their time by singing songs. They are passing their time by narrating stories. They are passing their time by playing verbal games. Even they pass their time by doing physical exercise. I must have told you this in some of my class, that when we sit in somebody's drawing room and the Sahab has gone inside, and we are waiting for the Sahab to come to his drawing room, और फिर बैठे बैठे हम लोग अपनी उंगलियां चटकाते हैं और तरह तरह के एक्सरसाइजेस करते हैं और कमर फोड़ते हैं और पीछे मुड़ते हैं और आगे मुड़ते हैं, all those things. So they are doing physical exercises, they are doing verbal games or playing verbal games, they are narrating stories, they are singing songs, right? They play the game of being lucky and pozo, remember. तुम पोजो बन जाओ, मैं लकी बन जाता हूँ, kind of. So they even play that the pretending to be lucky and pozo. So they played that game also. So and why they are doing all these things? They are doing all these things, as you know, for seeking ways to pass their time. And during the course of the play, at one juncture, at one place, Estragon says something. And I would like to quote that statement of Estragon. Estragon says, and I quote, "We don't manage too badly, FDD. We don't manage too badly, FDD. Between the two of us, we find always something, FDD. to give us the impression we exist. Now, I would like to say two things about this. I'll be coming back to this dialogue once again, but listen to me about one thing. We are always in the habit of saying, बड़ा अच्छा हुआ, प्रोग्राम बड़ा अच्छा हुआ, तुम लोगों ने फेयरवेल बड़ा अच्छा किया, प्रेशर पार्टी बड़ी अच्छी दी. And even the principal was compelled to say in your fresher party that the congratulations for organizing such a very beautiful program. Although we and you, all of us know how ironical he was. Right? So, what I'm trying, ये मजबूरी है. हम लोग सबको कहते हैं बड़ा अच्छा किया तुमने, बड़ा अच्छा बोले तुम, बड़ा अच्छा तुमने perform किया. Your dance was very good. हालांकि अंदर से सही नहीं. But do these modern trends. तो ये एक बात मुझे कहनी थी आपसे. Now I'd like to come back to the dialogue which I presented before you, and I read and I repeat the dialogue once again. Then I'll try to explain. This is Estragon saying we don't manage too badly, ideally, between the two of us. We always find something, ideally, to give us the impression that we exist. Okay, this is very okay. बहरहाल we didn't manage too badly. ठीक ठाक चला ली जिंदगी, सही हो गई, बस बस गुजार ली, और बहुत खराब नहीं गुजारी, सो कर ली, हो गया, अच्छे से हो गई, ये शादी जो है अच्छे से हो गई, सब ठीक से हो गया. Right? So we are in the habit of, we also are in the habit of saying this at the end. कोई ना कहे तो खुद ही कह लेते हैं, ठीक है. So we don't manage too badly. Look at this sentence. Between the two of us. Look at this sentence. And then come to that sentence. We always find something. हम लोग कुछ कुछ तलाश कर ही लेते हैं ना जिंदगी को चलाने के लिए. We always find something daily to give us the impression that exists. So I don't know, you're good enough, you are strong enough, and you are wise enough. You can understand the import of this word. So I don't want to go into the detail of this sentence. But look here. We always find something to give us the impression that we exist. So here in this dialogue, my dear friends, we find the essence of boredom. Look here. We find the essence of boredom. We find the essence of annoying. And all of us, Ashish Sinha, Abhishek Bharti, Adnan Khan, right? And all these Shreya Guha, Ekta Dogra, we have to do something to kill our time. Nowadays, we are doing something like Satrang to kill our time. You know, we are doing something like a fresher party preparation to kill our time. We are doing something like a class 11 to kill our time. Right? So this is what we are doing actually. Thus, now let's come to the play once again. This play, I mean, Waiting for Godot, becomes a direct presentation of waiting. It's a very direct presentation of waiting, number one. And not only waiting, my dear friend, look here, I am now once again pointing out some of the themes that this whole display, that is Waiting for Godot, is a direct presentation of waiting. Title kya hai? What is the title? Waiting for Godot. And what we are doing, what is the task of this lecture today? We are trying to justify the title. We are trying to look at the significance of the title. So the play becomes a direct presentation of waiting, number one. And the play is also a presentation of ignorance, human ignorance. The play is also a presentation of impotence, IMPOTENCE. The play is also a presentation of boredom. The play is also a presentation of boredom. So all of us, dear friends, I hope you will not mind, rather you will realize that all of us somehow, this way or that way, are number one, ignorant, and number two, impotent. All of us are ignorant and impotent. All of us. We all suffer from boredom. We all suffer from loneliness. We all suffer from what you can say alienation. This is another very beautiful word and a very important word of modernist discourse, alienation. Right. So we all go through these experiences in our life. The play is a very good interpretation of all these human situations. All these human situations means waiting, ignorance, importance, boredom, loneliness, alienation, etc. etc. Right. So now I have something very disastrous to say to you. Right. When I say that all of us are ignorant and important, when I say that we all suffer from boredom, loneliness, and alienation, listen to me, this is very disastrous. We actually have no sons. We actually have no daughters. We actually have no men. We actually have no women. We are all alone in this universe. This is a very disastrous statement. I know that for some of you, it may be a very disagreeable statement, but you cannot deny. You cannot deny. Time and again I have said to you in Hindi, ये सारे ढकोसले हैं हमारे इंसानी एग्जिस्टेंस के, जिसको हम लोगों ने अपने इर्द गिर्द पाल लिया है अपने आप को बिजी और एंगेज रखने के लिए. Otherwise, we are a victim of ignorance, importance, loneliness, alienation, and boredom. So I was repeating that sentence that we suffer. Sorry, we actually have no sons, we actually have no daughters, we actually have no women, or we actually have no men. We all are alone like Stragon and Vladimir. We all are alone like Stragon and Vladimir. There is no one, in fact, there is no one to accompany us. There is no one to relieve us out of our misery. Right? There is no one to relieve us out of our pain. There is no one to relieve us out of our suffering, and we have to face all these things. We have to feel all these things. We have to experience all these things all alone. So now, let us take it from the individual phenomena to a more larger phenomena. When we say that we are ignorance, we are impotence, and we are victim of boredom, loneliness, and alienation, right? Let us take it from the individual to a more larger phenomena. I hope you will agree with me that indeed there is no system, my dear friend. We have actually made this system to keep ourselves engaged in the act of waiting, nothing more than that. So indeed there is no system in fact. Indeed there is no philosophy in fact. Indeed there is no reason in fact. Indeed there is no person in fact. And listen to me, I hope you will angry. You will be angry that indeed even there is no God. That can make us free. Free from the act of waiting. Free from the act of waiting. So we keep on waiting until the grand finale. The grand finale that our relief will come. The grand finale that our relief will come. Our freedom will come. Our salvation will come. But that never comes. But that never comes. So hence, my dear friends, in the waiting of these two characters, which two characters? Stragon and Vladimir. In the waiting of these two characters, we identify our own selves. We identify our own experiences. Okay. Correct. That we may have never waited below a tree. ठीक है, मानता हूँ. But we have waited at a goal chakkar at a roundabout. We may have never waited below a tree. Correct. We may have never waited on the roadside. We may have never waited for a distant acquaintance to come. हो सकता है. हो सकता है we may have never waited for all those things that Vladimir and Stragon were waiting for in the play, but we have waited for other things. We have in our life waited for other things, right? As I was saying, that we have waited for a letter of appointment. We have waited for the arrival of a train. On a railway platform or a bus stand, we have waited for the arrival of a bus or a train. We have waited in our life for a love letter to come. We have waited in our life for so many other things to come in our life. So, my dear friend, we as reader can discover a common ground between ourselves and the two characters, the two tramps, Vladimir and Stragon. We feel with them. And listen to me, here I end, that we feel one with Vladimir and Stragon. We feel that we are sometime or the other, some way or the other, are into the same kind of situation in which Vladimir and Stragon were in the play. So I was saying, and I would like to conclude at this sentence, and it is a very strong and a very powerful sentence, and I request you to try to understand and try to feel this sentence for the sake of humanity to which you and I belong. And this last sentence is that, my dear friends, we feel one with them, one with the characters of the play. We feel one with Vladimir, we feel one with Stragon. And on the other hand, we also feel one with millions of others. Listen to me. We have also feel one with million of others who have also experienced the same kind of situation. We feel similar with millions of others who have been waiting for one thing or the other. People are waiting, my dear friend, people are waiting for widow pensions. People are waiting for old age pensions of 200 rupees. People are waiting for 200 grams of food grains. People are waiting for dry timber or dry wood to lighten their stove or something. You know, people are waiting. So we feel one with in the play when we are reading the play, when we are watching the play as Yahya Ibrahim, as Adnan Khan. When we are watching that play or when we are reading that play, we do two things together. We are Yahya Ibrahim and Adnan Khan also. We are Vladimir and Stragon also. We try to identify with them. We basically feel one with them. And on the other hand, we also feel one with those, as I said, we also feel one with those millions of others who have experienced ignorance in their life. We feel one with those millions of others who have experienced impotence in their life. We feel one with those millions of others who have experienced boredom in their life, alienation in their life, right? So with this, I stop this discussion, right? And we'll be talking something more in our next class. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.